to show you how to make your character in Scratch move using keystrokes, like the arrow keys, up, down, left, and right, to make your character move around the screen. Okay, first under the control menu, and I'm going to make it, I always set up my characters so that whenever we start our Scratch program, they're exactly where I want them to be. And I just want him to be in the center of the screen. So I'm going to make it so that when we start, when you click on the Go flag, then let's go under the Motion tab, and then tell him to always go to 0, 0, which is the center of the screen when you start the program. I always set mine up like that. Now, let's look at keystroke controls. Okay, this is the starting block that we're going to want to use for any keystroke controls when a certain key is pressed. Let's start off with the right arrow. Okay, when the right arrow key is pressed, there are a couple ways of doing this, and the way that I've found that works best is you say, we put in this forever if loop. Okay, it is conditional, and we'll put a condition in there. The condition is that the right arrow key is pressed. Okay, so it says when you press the right arrow, do something forever if the right arrow key is pressed. And that something will go back under the Motion tab again. That's where we find our movement. We want to say change X by, let's just change that to 3. Change X by +3 when the right arrow key is pressed. Okay, now we're going to do sort of the same thing for the left arrow key. And I'm going to just right click or control click on this whole block, and it will let me duplicate it. This will save me a lot of time. So instead of dragging more blocks out, I can just copy it. I can change the key, which keys are being pressed, change them to left arrow, and then I want to change this to be a -3. And let's take a look at what that looks like. Okay, and now let's just do the same thing for up and down. Okay, make this the up arrow. Now when we're changing to up and down, we have to change this block in here. Okay, we're actually changing Y. Up and down is along the Y axis. So up will be +3, and down will be -3. Okay, let's get my down arrows here. And make it a -3. Okay, so we have our basic keystroke combinations for moving right, left, up, and down. And we can make our character move all around the screen using these.
Every day it's something hits me also cold. Find me sitting by myself with no excuse.
I'm going to add one new aspect to this. I'm going to add another sprite, another character. Now that we've made it so that our character will move around, let's make it so that he can interact in some way with other characters or sprites that are on the screen. So I'm going to make it that if he touches this red wall, that it will put him in this top corner of the screen. Okay? Okay, let's see how we can do that with the code. Start our little simulation with the green flag. We're going to have it check. It's going to say if it's touching, I think right now he's just called Sprite 1. I haven't changed the name of that wall yet. If touching Sprite 1, then let's go under Motion, and this Go To, that's where my cat currently is, in that upper right hand corner where I left him. We're going to say go there. Okay? So once we start our simulation, it's going to start checking forever if I'm touching the wall, which right now is called sprite 1. Actually, why don't I'm going to change that. I'm going to rename my sprite 1 red wall. Okay? So now in my code, I can say, okay, if touching red wall, go to, and this is the top corner. Okay? And let's take a look at what that looks like. Okay, so I'm going to start off my simulation here. The cat always starts there at the middle. Then I can move him around. And if I run him into the wall, it puts me up in that upper corner. Okay? It doesn't matter what side I come from to hit that wall. When I hit it, it puts me in that upper corner. Even if I just barely hit it. Okay? And this makes for some good interactivity when you're creating games. When you have the things on the screen interacting with each other. Okay, now I have an assignment for you, class. Now that you've learned how to make your characters move and interact with other objects, other sprites on the screen, I'm going to provide you with a file called Banana Maze. And what I want you to do is, you see here we've got our maze, we've got bananas throughout it, and we've got a red dot. The red dot is your main sprite character. I want you to make the red dot move around the screen. Make it so that if it touches the black walls of the maze, that it puts it back at its starting point where it is right now. And if it touches bananas, then the bananas disappear. Okay, so here's my example. I've made it so that I can move around my little red dot here, and if he hits the wall of the maze, it puts him back at the start. But if I come over here and grab the bananas, they disappear. Okay, which makes for some good gameplay. And we could put up a scoreboard, create a variable that whenever the bananas are touched, it adds 10 points to our thing. But it's also challenging enough that he goes back to the start every time he hits the wall. Okay, so that's your challenge, and I'll provide the Banana Maze file, and then you're going to implement those actions to make your man move. And if it touches the wall, send him back to start. If it touches the banana, make it disappear, just like he ate it up. Okay, good luck with the assignment. And this is Mr. Anderson signing off.